everyone. I'm Dawara Matlo from Pretoria. I'm very passionate about the township economy, especially today since we were finding out all these numbers that the township is worth. So I have a company called Kasian Partners, and we have an initiative, actually a system that we developed called Kasi Direct. Next slide, please. So, simple and basic. Kasi Direct is a marketplace that connects skilled and vetted artisans to township homeowners. So, I'm sure everyone here, if I were to ask you, if you have a plumbing problem now, can you call up a plumber? Which I highly doubt that a lot of people would, because usually there are problems in finding qualified and vetted plumbers, especially in townships, especially. Next one. Okay, so I saw a problem that homeowners do not know where to find a qualified, reputable artisan service provider, and there's a lot of inconvenience that comes with it. These guys can be very dodgy and time wasting. And then the budgeting as well in terms of projects. So whether a client has a building project, you have a lot of people that will waste cement, waste bricks, and so on and so forth. And the artisans as well, they face a problem of access to market beyond their immediate surroundings. Transport as well. So if you have a leaking geyser and you were to call a plumber to come fix it now, he will tell you that he has to get to certain taxis and so on and so forth, and that's where we come in. Lack of project management skills, which is part of building. Most of the guys will take lunch for 2 hours while they're building, or the plumber will go out and say, I'm gonna buy this part to fix yours, and take 3 hours for that. And administration, where to administer their work. Next slide, please. This is the solution. The solution, as you can see on the first picture, we have the guys doing the ceiling. They did it perfectly, but previously, before we came in and worked with them, they had issues of self-management. This is where the second picture, that's me holding a fence. We were installing a fence for a client. She didn't know where to get one. We got her one. And the third picture is the gamazine. A lot of people don't know how much gamazine costs and where to find it. And the people who are actually qualified to actually install the gamazine, because it's not like paint, it's very tricky to do that. So progress to date, Kasi Direct has been working for 10 months in operation. Total revenue, we've made more than 100,000. Basically what we take, revenue includes payment of material and the service providers. We've received 30% commission, and we've serviced more than 18 homes. And the best part is that in these 18 homes, we don't just do the plumbing, we do the electrical, we do the building, we do the painting, we do the, you name it, whatever the house needs, we do. Next slide. So our ask today is strategic advice and mentorship to refine our business models and create assistance and receive assistance in improving our processes and systems, to prepare us to take on funding, because as much as we'd like funding, we're not prepared as such. And to assist with setting up advisory board on ongoing strategic and mentorship. And yes, as you can see, there's also a website, simple, quick and convenient, no hackles, no nothing. You don't have to deal with the service provider, we do, and we take over everything. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah. I just want to know how you're managing, and have you had experiences, because there's risk inherent in this model, because you're not the final service delivery, you're just an intermediary, and you're making a whole lot of promises to your customer. How do you manage with that risk if things are not being delivered to the standard and the agreement with the customer?
Okay, thank you for that question. Our biggest competitor is called Kandua, right? But Kandua operates officially in the suburbs, and what they do is they just send you, so you go on their website and say, I need an electrician. They just send the electrician, right? Now, with Kasi Direct, what we do is we charge the service providers 30%, which includes transport and everything. What we do is, I go with him to the client. So the communication between the two is cut out. It's between me and him. So if he has an issue, if we have an issue, for example, if a plumber says, I can fix the geyser but he can't, we immediately replace him. So the client gets the job done. How it gets done, it matters not. But we make sure that the client receives the service. So if the plumber can't do the work, we replace him with someone who can, and the client doesn't have to pay more. Because what usually happens in township is a plumber or a builder will say, I'll charge you 8,000, and then they can't do the job, and then now the client already paid, has to go back, look for another person, come back and pay him. So we make sure that we cut that out.
Just two quick ones. So the 30% you said you charge to the service provider,
yes,
and not the homeowner, so that will be good
yes,
news for the homeowner, but it feels to me a bit steep. And I don't know what your competitor Kandua charges, but it's just something to think about. And then my question is, how do you vet these suppliers?
Okay, to answer your question about 30% is that the reason for the 30%, like I said, we offer transport and we offer them market sales. And we make sure that we offer them sales because I'm their sales guy. So I make sure that their client is happy and they'll always get referrals from the client because most of these guys don't have all that. So they do agree with that. And then what we also do is we charge the client a 10% service fee. So a client would get a plumber for 1,000 rand, we'll charge another 10%, that will be ours. What was your... Oh, the vetting, yes, yes. So the issue is that, number one, and this is the biggest issue in townships, most of the service providers do not have the papers, but they have the skills. So what we do is, if you can go to your cash builds and build it, you do find these guys, and they are very recommended by the salespeople because the salespeople actually know these guys who can actually do the job because they are the ones who sell the material to the guys. And besides that, what we do, I don't just take them. If you don't have papers, I personally always do that. I go to their previous clients and see the work that they've done and get a report of, in terms of behavior as well, how were they behaving with the client, how long did it take, and so on and so forth. So I don't just vet them, I actually create a sort of a profile for each of my service providers.
Thank you. I'm going to have to stop you there. Please give him